Welcome everybody to week 2 of the CompuCell training workshop for 2023. We're glad to see many of you back this week, and we've got some new faces and new names in the participant list. So thank you everybody for coming. Just have a quick opening announcement session here each day from 9:45 to 10. Just want to remind everybody that all of the workshop sessions this week, including these welcome sessions and the Q&As at the end of the day, will be recorded, as well as live streamed on YouTube. And then they will be posted in perpetuity for ongoing distribution after the fact. So just be aware that these meetings are being filmed. Couple of basic Zoom logistics things. So screen sharing and microphones have been disabled for participants during the main modules. This year, please do submit your questions to chat or raise your hand if you need to be unmuted to ask a question. We just have mute on by default to reduce the probability of a Zoom bomb. We've had a couple of those over the last year. But please do let us know if you have a question that you would like to be unmuted to ask. And we can forward that to the instructor. You can find all of the slide decks, including this one, in the student materials folder. I will paste these links in the chat for you in case you don't have them already. And if you have not joined this year's Slack workspace yet, here's the link for that as well. Minimize some of these windows. So just a quick outline of this week's tentative schedule. Today, we're going to be talking mostly about network modeling in CompuCell. We'll have an introduction to using antimony, followed by a section on developing network models with more advanced applications after lunch. And then at the end of the day, there'll actually be a self-guided exercise where you can put some of these things into practice yourself. Then tentative schedule for the rest of the week. I just want to note here that a couple of these sessions are still open to potentially being moved around. We will be sending out an updated schedule each morning as we sort of change things based on feedback we get over the course of the week. But for right now, these are the topics that we're looking at for the rest of the week. If there is something that you would really like to hear more about this week, please do send us an email. We can't make any guarantees that we'll be able to fit it in, but we will try our best to cover some of it, or at least to highlight it maybe more heavily in a lecture where it is already covered. Yes, so that's the forecast for the rest of the week. And then we'll have our hackathon this weekend on Saturday and Sunday. And we'll talk a little bit more about that during the extra session before lunch today. Today's schedule in more detail. So for those who are joining us for the first time this week, the daily schedule will always follow this format. The introduction will go from actually 9:45, not sure why it's 9:40, but 9:45 to 10 each day. Module 1 will go from 10 to 11:30. We'll have a 15-minute break. Then module 2 will go from 11:45 to 1:15 p.m. I should mention all of these times are in Eastern Daylight Time. The extra module before lunch is from 1:15 to 2. We'll have a lunch break from 2 to 2:45. Module 3 then goes from 2:45 to 4:15. 15-minute break, followed by module 4 from 4:30 to 6. And then we stick around for half an hour after that last module for any lingering Q&A that anybody may have about anything that we've discussed over the course of the day. So if you do have any burning questions from earlier modules, please feel free to either stick around at 6 or to come back at 6 if you weren't able to make the afternoon sessions and ask those questions. A little bit more about the Zoom logistics. So like we said, screen sharing and microphones are disabled. So please do put any questions or needs in the Zoom chat. If you're having any technical problems with Zoom, please let us know right away so that we can get those resolved as quickly as possible. We've been having a couple of issues here and there last week with some Zoom stuff. So you're having trouble connecting one day during the week, please send me an email as soon as you can. Or if you have particular features that aren't enabled on your end, please let us know. And we will help you get that figured out. Please do feel free to use the go faster and go slower buttons during the lecture, just to let us know if you feel the pace is either too slow or too fast. We will use polls during exercises for determining how many people have completed the exercise and how many people need more time. We usually will warn you before we throw those polls up because they pull you away from what you're doing to present you with the poll. So we do try to give you a heads up on that. We'll also have a end of module poll at the end of each module for you to give us feedback. Please do fill those out. Your feedback is invaluable for making any adjustments we may need to make over the course of the week, as well as any adjustments we need to make in future workshops. So any feedback you give us is very helpful. Please don't hold back. We want everybody's most honest feedback about how they're experiencing the workshop. All exercises and slides will be made available in the Google Drive for you to revisit after the workshop, and each recording will also be available on YouTube after the fact. We will send out individual links for each video at the end of each day, and there is an ongoing playlist that these videos are being added to as they become available on YouTube post live stream. If you do have connection problems during the stream and you drop out and for some reason can't reconnect, these sessions are being live streamed on YouTube, which you can find in Dr. Glazer's YouTube channel. So we don't know what the link is for each video until the stream begins, unfortunately. But you can just go to James's page. Let me actually go grab the link for that. Okay. Here is the YouTube playlist for each video. And then you can actually just find under the live tab on Dr. Glazer's YouTube channel, you can find the currently streaming video as well. And I'll dig up that link once James gets started here and send that around in the chat too, so you'll have that. So some people are using CompuCell and NanoHub. If you are using CompuCell and NanoHub, we did discover last week that there's an issue with the current version 4 tool where the Python snippets drop-down menu is not rendering in, so you can't use Python code snippets, which is actually a pretty huge hindrance once you start building your own models. We currently do have a workaround for that. This tool that we have, let me get the link here. The capillary tool is a functioning version of CompuCell that you can use in the meantime. You'll have to log into NanoHub and launch the tool. Click OK on the outdated version warning. That's not a big deal. It's just telling you that there's a newer version installed somewhere on NanoHub, but it will still run just fine. The capillary simulation will start running automatically, so you can just stop that simulation with the stop button in Player, and then you can launch Twedit from the Player toolbar and use CompuCell as normal after that. So a little bit of a hassle with the workaround until we can get the version 4 tool fixed on NanoHub's end. But this has been working for people so far for the most part. Again, if you have not installed CompuCell locally, we recommend that you do still try to do that, even if you're using NanoHub, and vice versa. If you are using a local install, we do think it's still useful to have a NanoHub account ready to go, and that something goes bad with your installation, you can switch to NanoHub until we can help you get your installation fixed. It's just a slide on where to find some different resources. Again, these slides are available in the student materials folder if you would like to visit any of these links. I'm not going to dump all of these in the chat now, but these are available for you in these welcome slides each day if you forget where these links are found. As far as who's presenting today will just be Dr. Glazer and myself during the lunch break, but we will have, I think, a couple of other people in here to help answer questions. I believe Pedro will be helping us today, and probably Gilberto Thomas as well. So with that, I am finished. I will go ahead and turn things over to Dr. Glazer to go ahead and get started with our first module of the day.